Hello, my beautiful babies. Before we get into episode 64 of White Heat, just want to remind you that, hey, even though summer is winding down on the calendar, it's still going to feel like summer out there throughout the next few weeks. And that means if you've been dealing without AC for a while, one, you're dumb for not getting it looked at by now. But two, if you do want to get it looked at, our boys over at Johnstone Supply and Trade will hook you up over here in upstate New York. They can talk about their high efficiency central AC systems and ductless mini splits, tremendous brands at great prices like Goodman Fujitsu and Westinghouse. And hey, you need someone to help install that new system, Johnstone Supply and Troy can help with that too. And well, since you're at it, since you were late to the boat on the AC, why don't you become the early bird that gets the worm on your heating system? That's right. Believe it or not, fall's right around the corner, which means winter isn't too far away either. Temperatures will start dipping, especially as we get deeper into football season come October. And that means you're going to want to make sure your heating system is good and up to date and ready to go. So why don't you have them take a look at that too while they're taking care of your AC system? Two birds with one stone. That's what they're all about over at Johnstone Supply. Go talk to the boys, Kev, James, Bird, George, whoever it may be. They'll hook you up with a cooler place this summer and make sure that your heating system is also ready to go when the colder days and nights of winter come around. 2600 6th Avenue in Troy, or give them a call, 518-272-5922. Again, that's 2600 6th Avenue in Troy. Phone number 518-272-5922, or visit them at johnstonesupply.com. That being said, we're ready to rock and roll. Mr. Alexander is here. I'm here. What's happening?
Ugh.
Ugh. That's a good way to describe the pre-show. I don't know, issues going on. Let's say that.
Yeah.
So let's dive right in. Obviously, this is a huge weekend coming up in pro wrestling. 3 big shows in the course of less than 48 hours, with WWE having Clash of the Castle on. Don't give me that goddamn look.
2 big shows and AEW.
Don't be a jerk off, all right? It's still a pay-per-view, all right? Jerk. Don't start. Don't start already. Don't start already. We're having 3 minutes in. Clash of the Castle Saturday for WWE. NXT Worlds Collide, which is Sunday at 4 p.m., by the way.
Oh, it is at 4. It's not at 1?
I thought it was at 1 last week. I was a jerk off. It's at 4. I'm sorry. I gave misinformation last week. And then, obviously, after Worlds Collide later that night is AEW All Out from Chicago. So, a lot of different stuff going on, a lot of moving pieces. And it's perfect for the holiday weekend, because you don't have to worry about about going to bed at 1 a.m. after a 5-hour pay-per-view by AEW and having to wake up for work the next morning. You probably have Monday off by the odds of it. So
wait a second. So does AEW do the pre-show on YouTube? The buy-in or whatever the fuck they call it?
Usually, yes. I think they also do it on Fight TV for free.
Okay, but so they're giving away a multi-man ladder match for a title shot for free.
Well, they haven't officially announced it's during the buy-in.
It's during the buy-in.
Is that you following rumor and conjecture on the internet, or is that you knowing that?
It's the Casino Battle Royal, dude. It's anytime they do the casino anything, it's always during the buy-in if it's not on Dynamite.
Listen, I'm just telling you. I mean, here's the way to think about it. Right now, barring anything coming up between Dynamite and Rampage this week, there's only 9 matches booked for the damn show. I don't think they're gonna
only 9.
Oh, considering what their recent shows have been, where they've had like 12 to 14 matches, yeah, the word "only" is appropriate for 9 for them. So, I mean, as of right now, there's nothing labeled as pre-show, nothing being judged as pre-show, but
because here's what I'm thinking. Here's my train of thought.
Okay.
Worlds Collide goes on at 4, right?
Okay.
You figure it's probably going to be about 2 hours or so?
Yeah, 2.5, yeah.
And the buy-in usually goes live around 7, right?
Correct.
We should do a live recap of Worlds Collide, and while we're there, a live watch along of the fucking pre-show.
just so you can shit on AEW live instead of pre-recorded video.
Yes.
Yeah, I was picking up what you were putting down. Don't you worry. You and your that a wolf or a goat? What the fuck is on your coffee mug today?
It's Pennywise.
Oh, I don't know why. It looked like a wolf or a goat to me. Don't mind me. It's what I get for looking, quickly and not paying attention. Anyways, all right. Let's get into the week that was in wrestling. Let's get the shitty stuff out of the way. Let's start with Impact.
They
Nothing
repackaged
of
Jessica Havoc.
Yeah, and we even have a few trolls trying to say that it's Dewdrop 2.0.
No.
No. But any user, before the Impact, they had Ace Austin and Hikuleo beat Johnny Swinger and Zicky Dyson tag team action. Yay!
That was a waste of having fucking Ace and Hikuleo fucking tag.
Basically. Then we had Deanna and Chelsea retain the Knockouts tag titles over Jordan Grace and Mia Yim.
Mm-hmm.
And then some Violent by Design promo. Sure, whatever.
They did some shit.
Then Carl Anderson beats Mike Bennett in singles action, which means Maria Kanellis is banned from ringside during the Impact World Tag Team title match. I'm assuming that's going to be at
Bound for Glory.
Bound for Glory? Actually, it might be at Victory Road. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right, because they're still...
Because Victory Road is their digital-only pay-per-view that's going to be coming up a couple weeks beforehand, so I don't know. We'll see.
It's so hard because they all used to be...
Unless on Impact next week. I don't know. Maybe it was during their tapings. Then DeMore informs the Goodbirds that since Doc Gallows is healthy... Yeah, it was part of their tapings. The tag match is next week.
I was going to say, because Gallows and Anderson are officially done with Impact.
Right. So are we to assume that Good Brothers dropped the belts on Impact this week to Taven and Bennett? Is that what we're saying?
Probably.
Nothing like shit leaking out when you've already done tapings. Then Savannah... Jesus Christ. So Savannah Evans is getting checked out by a doctor.
A medical professional.
Right. And Tasha Steelz is in the room with her, and then Killer Kelly attacks Tasha Steelz, but while I don't know, fucking weird.
Reasons.
Guhar beats some poor dude named Jason Hotch. Never heard of him. Don't know him. Don't care.
Local guy.
Yep. Brian Myers is on commentary because Guhar. Horst Myers attacks Guhar after the match. Whatever. Then it was made official after that this coming week, it was made official by Gail Kim. She's running the Knockouts division, in case you didn't know. Deonna Purrazzo 1-on-1 against Masa Slamovich on Impact. Winner gets a shot at Jordan Grace for the Knockouts title at Bound for Glory. By the way, I love how Scott Armstrong's Twitter handle is still WWE Armstrong. And they're tagging him in the tweets for Impact Wrestling.
He's too old to learn how to contact Twitter and change the handle part.
Like, yo, change the fucking handle. Nope, God forbid. Then we have Josh Alexander defeat Vincent. I'm assuming in a non-title match because this was not publicized ahead of time.
Yeah.
Then after the match, Eddie Edwards appears. Okay. And then as I guess Eddie was cutting some promo at the top of the ramp and then gets jumped by Heath at the end. Sure. Okay. Raj Singh. Moose and Macklin get attacked by Sami Callihan while having an argument. I don't fucking know. This is weird.
Because they're still continuing the Moose and Sami Callihan program.
Basically. Jessica, they dropped the Havoc name. It's now
just Jessica. Yeah.
Where it's Jess, the word sick, and then the A.
Ka. Yeah. There's 2 Ks.
Yeah. So Jessica beats Alicia in singles action in the repackaging of Jessica Havoc.
Yeah. I think she looked good. I mean, it's different. She's done the Jessica Havoc character for so long.
Right. No, I understand. Now, do we have any idea what's? Oh, that's great. Oh, great. So, I'll come back to what I was going to get to in a second.
Okay.
So apparently, Sammy Callahan appeared at ringside wrapped in barbed wire because sure, why not? And he's challenging Moose and Steve Macklin to a barbed wire massacre match at Victory Road.
Ugh. So now Macklin's involved in that shit, and they just don't want to give it up.
So what, is Sammy Callahan trying to be a New Age Terry Funk? Is that what we're doing? He's just going to be in all these different...
He's trying to be a New Age, like, Onita.
Right. Sure.
Which, if they're involving Macklin in this, if they're involving a third person, wouldn't it have made more sense to hold off and wait till they have 3 people involved to do the Monsters Ball match instead of doing the Monsters Ball match 2 months ago with only 2 people? Because the Monsters Ball match has usually been a multi-man match.
You're asking Scott D'Amore to make sense.
I mean,
that's almost as bad as trying to ask Tony Khan to make sense, all right?
I mean, Scott D'Amore's been around the block a little bit. Like, this is some basic shit, and it's basic shit, and for like, it's paint by numbers in a company that he's been involved in for 20 years. Like, go back and watch your own old tapes.
Yeah, that's about that. 6-man action, Time Machine, Kushida, and the Mosaic Machine Guns. They beat Violent by Design, Eric Young, Doring, and Diener. Let's see. I don't think there was anything else. Yeah, they just had Time Machine celebrating as Impact went off the air, which leads me to a question, which I'm going to double check and see if I find the answer to.
You won't.
It shouldn't be that fucking hard, considering it was all over.
That's what she said.
No, Nikki Bella had her wedding this weekend. Good for her. That's not what I was looking for.
What's your question? Maybe I know the answer.
Did Mickey James make the goddamn announcement that they had been hyping up this weekend when they were in Texas, or was there just no announcement at all?
I thought that's next week.
Well, they were hyping up her announcement to be during their Texas events.
Right, but you got to remember that they taped the block in Texas.
Because I see that on Impact last week, they were teasing an announcement this coming week on Impact. But they also had been talking about how, like, all the buzz on Twitter the entire week was her making that announcement in Texas during their live events this weekend.
I thought it was she was going to make the announcement at the Impact tapings in Texas, and we all know that they tape in 2 to 3 week blocks. So that's why my guess is that it's happening this upcoming Thursday.
I'm just shocked whatever the announcement was hasn't been leaked by now, because it's been 2 to 3 days. So it can't be that big of a fucking announcement, I guess.
Right.
We'll see.
Looks like it's not retirement. Otherwise, everyone would be talking about it already.
Yeah, basically. So, oh well. Not that I want to see Mickey James retire, so I'm just saying, like,
yeah,
there was all being hyped up and shit, and now I don't fucking know. Whatever, we'll see. I want to announce a contract extension. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Stupid shit.
Yeah.
Anywho,
but at least now we know Good Brothers aren't re-signing with Impact, and they really have nowhere to go now. Because supposedly they were in negotiations with Vince, which I highly doubt, because of all the shit they talked about.
I was getting was that they felt they got lowballed in whatever they were talking to Vince about.
Maybe because they fucking deserved it. Because the last time they got signed, Vince backed a truckload of money up to their freaking house, and they didn't pay off. And then it didn't come time to renew because they weren't worth the investment that they freaking asked for. And then they sat there knowingly saying they backed a truckload of money up to our house, but they're still going to sit there and talk shit about Vince. So, of course, when it comes time around again where you want to get signed, no one cares. Like, right. You guys were like, they were never, I will never understand everyone who's been on the Good Brothers train for the past 10 years. I will never fucking understand it. Like, Carl Anderson was the fucking heavy in the early stages of the Bullet Club. And then, like, I'm sorry, like, Gallows is all, like, I've never cared for Gallows. Like, there was at
he
one
came around the
point,
same time as AJ, didn't he?
yeah, no, Anderson was like the third member of Bullet Club. Like,
but I'm saying Gallows came in around the same time as AJ.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And I remember having a conversation with Eric about bringing in names for different shows, and who, like, because he was running a little low on who he wanted to bring in. And I was just like, well, because I think he wanted a bigger person. And I said, well, I was just like, Aces and Eights has died down in TNA. You might want to try getting Gallows. And then I found out how much Gallows was charging for indie appearances. And I went, fuck that dude. During TNA, after Aces and Eights had already fizzled. So this is, Gallows has no stock whatsoever. He wanted 10 grand per indie appearance.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck out of here.
Meanwhile, you go and watch. I was watching the rerun of the DX biography last night on A&E, which aired like 2 weeks ago. And Road Dogg was talking about the same, like, Road Dogg in the late aughts was charging $300 for an indie appearance. I was like, I wish I had known. We would have booked Road Dogg for $300. Would have given him $500.
300. Never mind.
He said it was for drugs.
So. Below, but okay. Oh, okay. Well, if you gave 300 and the few bumps, maybe he would have gotten a discount after all, instead of charging $5. Anyways, that was all good fun. I don't mean anything by that. Anyways, all right, let's go from shitfest to shitfest. Let's go to Missouri.
Missouri.
All right, so day of show. Well, day of night one of show.
Day of night.
Apparently, yeah. So apparently, it was announced that Harry Smith had withdrawn from the show due to illness.
That sucks.
So instead of the Commonwealth Connection defending the World Tag Titles, they vacated them and had La Rebellion instead take on Luke Hawx and PJ Hawx for the vacant titles.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in a second. So night one, so Caprice Coleman wrestled back-to-back nights, by the way. Interesting.
Good for him.
I guess there's something going on between him and Colby Corino. Is the gist of what I'm picking up here?
That sounds like a solid program. I like Caprice. I like Colby. So,
because the whole premise was there was a tag match during the pre-show of night one where if Coleman's team won, then his singles match against Corino night two would be 2 out of 3 falls. If Corino's team won, then it would have been a 30-minute Iron Man match instead of 2 out of 3 falls. Which to me, like
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Thank you. We're talking tomato at this point. Any Hooser, Coleman, that was really the only notable pre-show match of night one. Coleman and Gustavo Aguilar won that tag match. So the next night was going to be 2 out of 3 falls. As far as the actual main card from night one, EC3 won his match in a 5-minute squash. Who cares? The Miserably Faithful won the Beelzebub's Bedlam match.
Beelzebub's Bedlam.
Sorry. Over the Ill Begotten. The artist formerly known as Chris Masters won by DQ in his match. Homicide retained the junior heavyweight title over Kerry Morton. Matt Cardona lost in less than 6 minutes. There is a
wow. There is a guy.
Max the Impaler won the Burke Invitational Gauntlet, which
called it.
What?
I called it.
Oh, yes, you did. So Maxine Taylor got the women's title, the women's championship match the next night. Scion defeated Jack Stain to become the new national heavyweight champion. Take a guess.
Which one is Cyan? Is that the guy that used to be Crimson?
Yes.
Now he's a square car.
Yeah. Would you like to take a guess who won the tables match between Mike Knox and Bully Ray?
Bully Ray.
Thank you. La Rebellion won the vacant world tag titles, and then the main event, they had Camille defeat Taya Valkyrie to retain the NWA World Women's title.
Camille.
So, night 2, have you ever heard of a Queen Bee match, by the way?
No.
All right. So that was the last match of the pre-show for night 2. Allow me to explain what a Queen Bee match is, because I never knew this existed either. It's a 2-stage match. Stage 1 is a 6-woman tag, and then the team that wins the 6-woman tag then competes against each other in a 3-way elimination match.
3-way dance, okay.
So Natalia Markova ended up winning the whole thing in the end. Her team was Missa Kate and Maddie Rankowski, and the team they beat in the original tag match was Kylan King, Genocide, and Taya Valkyrie.
It sounds like an interesting concept. I mean, it sounds a lot like the Soul Survivor shit from Survivor Series back in the day.
Except just clumped into one match, basically.
Yeah.
Then the main show, Colby Corino beat Caprice Coleman 2-1. The Fixers won the tag team battle royal for the
U.S. titles?
Yes, for the U.S. tag titles that were brought out of retirement. I don't know who either of these guys are, but I'll say their names. Magic Jake Dumas defeated Mercurio.
Okay.
Sure. Davey Richards retained the MLW National Openweight title over Thrillbilly Silas Mason. Scion retained in his first title defense of the National Heavyweight title over Anthony Mayweather. Ella Envy and Kenzie Page retained their women's tag titles over Allison Kay and Marty Bell. Homicide retained the junior heavyweight title again, this time against Ricky Morton. So he beat both Mortons in one weekend. Is that what I'm saying here? Did I see that right? Yeah, he beat both Mortons in the same weekend. Okay, cool. Nick Aldis beat Flip Gordon. Kratos and the Pope beat Aaron Stevens and Rodney Mack. I'm going to skip this match to come back to it because I want your thoughts on it.
Okay. I thought Aaron Stevens was retired.
I thought so too. I don't fucking know anymore. Retirements are about as... Never mind, I'll let that go. Retirements don't mean shit.
Announced the retirement.
In simple terms. He did. He fucking did. Yeah, I know.
Have Aaron Stevens and Fandango announce a retirement for reals match.
Yeah. Camille successfully retained her women's title again against Maxie Impaler that night. Main event, Trevor Murdoch retained the world's heavyweight title over Tyrus. Mm-hmm. This is the thing I want your opinion on.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom Latimer and EC3 went to a no contest.
All right.
Would you like to know why it went to a no contest?
I'm guessing something with control of your narrative, freaking storming the ring.
Yep. Yep. And they essentially just beat the shit out of Tom Latimer. That was the whole thing. Like, am I missing what anybody is seeing? And this isn't me. Like, I know last week we mentioned the indie show that's happening in Pennsylvania. I think it's in October, November.
Yeah.
And I generally like the guys at PPW. So this isn't really me shitting on them. This is me just shitting in general and control your narrative. Like, what are people seeing in this product that makes any kind of fucking sense for booking?
The only thing that I can guess is EC3 is fleecing bookers and saying, I'll come in for this much. However, if you let us do a CYN thing on your show, I can get you these guys at a discounted rate, quote unquote, and it will give exposure to your product. That's the only thing I can possibly think of. Because bookers are suckers, dude.
How is it exposure?
Because Control Your Narrative is going to be the hot new thing, even though they've been saying that for over a year.
Oh, lick my balls. It's going to be the hot new thing. Please.
But that's the thing is you find bookers that can get fleeced. That's all it is. Because for every shady booker who knows what he's doing in this country, there's 45 bookers that don't. Who will sit there and go, yeah, okay. And unfortunately, Billy Corgan's one of those. So I guarantee he said EC3 did something like, I'll forego my payday on the first night if you let me do a fucking CYN run-in on the fucking match on night 2.
Can I? It's a good transition for the next stuff we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Can I project one of my biggest fears in the next 6 months of pro wrestling?
Sure.
Because now that we're saying all this, one of my biggest fears about pro wrestling next 6 months is this group of assholes suckering Tony Khan out of money into having them come into an AEW angle.
They already did once with ROH. Remember, CYN showed up on the fucking ROH show in April.
How long? Like a month?
What was that? You froze there. What did you say?
Yeah, but nothing came of it.
Uh-oh. Brian, you're frozen.
I was just saying nothing really came of it. Like they literally have done nothing with it.
Right. Well, nothing came, but I guarantee they did it then because
they've done nothing.
Because they thought it would give CYN the boost because they were about to film their first couple of shows. But yeah, I could definitely see Tony Khan doing something with it because he's stupid.
Lovely. Fucking lovely.
It's going to be some, especially it's going to happen right around the time the contract negotiations between Khan and Warner Discovery are going to happen.
God, I hope not. God.
Because Khan is going to try to pull some bullshit where he's going to be like, see, you're going to get 3 companies for the price of 1 if you re-sign us.
Oh, boy. Anyways. Moving away. You have your notes ready, sir?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
You sure you're ready?
Yes.
You want to guess what my first note was from Dynamite?
Why are we opening with this freaking stupid soap opera segment?
Fuck Judas. That was my first note.
Yeah. Oh, but don't you know Chris Jericho came out and said why they're still using it? Didn't you see that shit?
Why?
Because he tried to tell Tony Khan that he wanted to change it, but Tony Khan said no, because the fans expect to be able to sing along to it now. So we have to keep doing it. Yeah, I know. And you would think that someone who's been in the business for 30 years like Chris Jericho would turn and go, dude, that's not how this works.
By the way, I'm noticing a half hour in that my tongue is a little blue from the juice I was drinking earlier. No, I'm not turning into Luchasaurus. Just telling you guys now. That's the stupidest fucking shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, never mind. Anyways, so we open with.
By the way, before we even start the show, just to let the fans know, as of freaking 3 hours before doors opening on the day of Dynamite, there were still 1,769 seats available in a place that was set up for 6,400 seats.
It sounded disappointing when they had them It sounded like, you know what I mean? Like the show sounded disappointing. The aura didn't sound there to me, but anyways, so we open with the Young and the Restless with Jericho and Garcia in the ring. Danielson interrupts. Garcia leaves without committing to being a sports entertainer or a wrestler. Then Jericho and Danielson set a match between them for All Out, and then Hager attacks Bryan Danielson from behind. which then sets up a match between Hager and Danielson this coming week on Dynamite.
And sets up Danielson and Jericho at All Out.
Well, they agreed to the match already during the segment, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, which would have been a great match in 2005.
Right. Then we get our first match of the night. Jay Lethal cheats to beat Dax Harwood. And then Sanjay decides to reveal the opponents for Wardlow and FTR at All Out in their 6-man tag. It's not going to be Lethal and Sanjay and Satnam Singh. Oh, no. That would make too much sense. Let's just randomly pluck the Motor City Machine Guns out of Impact for fuck's sake.
Yep. Let's pluck a babyface team during a hot babyface run to team with the heels.
Right. Where does this make... Never mind.
Dream match, bro. Dream matches.
How is that a dream match?
Because Tony probably signed the Guns to come in for 2 to 3 shots, which means they'll get them at the pay-per-view, and then Wednesday on Dynamite we'll get FTR versus the Guns.
Fuck me sideways. I just can't believe this shit. So we get Thunder Rosa backstage with Tony, in which she announces she's stepping away as champion. And at All Out, they are going to have a 4-way to crown an interim champion, which will involve Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Toni Storm, and who's the fourth? Oh, Sheeta.
Yeah. Why is Jamie Hayter in this match?
Fair question.
Like, she hasn't a match on fucking TV in how long?
Well, let's break this down. Thunder Rosa is injured in loose quotes. We'll address that later.
Oh wait, it's because it's Hayter's in there because Rosa broke fucking Hayter's nose. That's why.
So Rosa is injured.
Yeah.
Statlander fucked up her knee again.
Yep.
Athena's already facing Jade Cargill at All Out for the TBS title.
For the 80th time.
Serena Deeb is
nowhere.
Somewhere. I think the better question would be, why is Sheeta in this match? Because she hasn't been around in ages.
That too, yeah.
At least Hayter's been around and involved in the whole Thunder Rosa, Toni Storm bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, you could have thrown Ruby Soho a bone, maybe put her in that match.
Right? She ain't been on TV and God knows how long.
You know, it's not like she just lost on TV to fucking Ty Mello and Sammy Guevara or anything like that. Which I'll mention again later, by the way. I'd almost say...
I'm amazed Riho's not in that match.
You know, honestly, who would honestly make more sense? That, like, I get why Jamie Hayter's in there. But if you want to talk about females who've been kind of building up lately, and I know you probably don't agree with the fact that they've been building her up lately, but it's the only person I can think of, really, on a heel side. Why wouldn't you throw Anna Jay a bone? I know.
True. No, you got a point.
It's basically an auto loss because you're never gonna. There's no way she would beat Baker or Toni Storm in that match. But at the same time, it's like you're trying to build up Anna Jay as like,
I'm gonna choke everyone out.
Like, yeah, like you're trying to build her up as the mentally unstable woman of the group,
right,
of JAS, where she's just choking out everyone in sight. And now we're just gonna stop all that momentum you've been trying to build, if any. Like,
yeah, no, you got a point.
But anyways, we'll come back to that whole Thunder Rosa and shit, this stuff later on. And then the only way I can introduce the next part is Scissor Me! Sorry.
Okay.
So, Billy versus Colton. Billy obviously is trying to call everything out there.
Yeah, it looked like a practice drill.
I mean, it was to the point where you could even tell he was trying to call everything that Austin was doing from the outside.
Right. you could see Billy physically stopping in between everything and being like, okay, shoot me off. Okay, do this. Like,
Right.
I've run enough practice drills to know when I'm seeing a practice drill.
Right. Then Stokely provides enough distraction for Colton to hit a low blow and then a finish for the win on Billy. Then Stokely gives cards to Gun Club, who then, if I remember correctly, they jumped to Billy again afterwards, and then the Acclaimed came out and cleared the ring. If I remember correctly. I think that's how it went.
And then for no reason, the Acclaimed get a title shot at the pay-per-view.
Well, yeah.
Wouldn't it make more sense to have the Acclaimed face the Gun Club?
Oh, just because faces versus heels? Is that why?
Just because they're still in the middle of that shit. But let's just pluck them out to have them get a title shot.
But, bro, I don't think they're in the rankings, bro. I think the Acclaimed are number 2 in the rankings, bro.
And?
Sorry,
what do the rankings matter when it's a match that doesn't involve titles?
I know. I was just throwing shit at you, okay? Then we got Britt Baker beating Kylan King.
That was like watching a monkey fucking a football.
Good imagery right there. Then we get Swerve and Our Glory and Acclaim backstage with Tony, which is referring to what you were saying, where they made a match for the tag titles at All Out. Maybe we'll have something on Dynamite this week where Gun Club's like, fuck this shit, put us in it and make it a triple threat. I don't fucking know. I'm just saying, if you want it that bad, Tony might say, all right, fuck this mess, let's make it a triple threat. You know how like the big thing was, there were 2 big things with, what's his face? Teddy Long when he was SmackDown GM. It was, we're going to make this a tag team match. And then there was
Undertaker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe TK's big thing is, this is going to be a triple threat match. Maybe that's his thing. I don't fucking know. That seems to be the theme with the tag titles for whatever fucking reason. Then we get, oh, haha, yes. All right. So my next note says, why the fuck is this the mid-card main event? So essentially what happened is, we decided that Will Ospreay's flippy-dippy ass is more important as your main event than merging your world titles.
Yes, your title unification match that was supposed to be the main event of your pay-per-view.
It's now your mid-card main event on free TV on a Wednesday night.
Yep.
Which means you're willing to sacrifice a consistent viewership rating the entire show by hijacking it halfway through with the title unification match, which then eventually led to, and this is not a guess, this is science, this is facts, pal, they lose a quarter of their audience basically from the end of hour 1, start of hour 2 to their main event.
Yeah, they lost overall. I think they lost 225,000, but like 15,000 or so tuned back in for the very last quarter because they were obviously trying to see if something would fucking happen.
So basically, overall, they lost, we'll call it 210,000 from 9 p.m. to 9:45 p.m., which was over 20% of where you were at the top of the 9. Anyways, I have nothing at this point for.
Let's skip over this and go back because there's details to be covered that we'll go back to.
Right. So after that clusterfuck, we get Christian backstage with Tony Schiavone. He accepts Jungle Boy's challenge for All Out.
Yay.
Then we get Starks doing a promo in the ring, challenging Hobbs for All Out. Then we get Mox cutting a backstage promo.
Oh, is that not how that was supposed to go?
I love you, John. I love you. Then we get to that clusterfuck main event. So I'm just going to rattle off the shit I have here. Stop me if you feel the need to step in at all. First off, I've come to a conclusion about these trios matches. And it's a note that I mentioned to you while watching it.
Yep.
These motherfuckers just really don't even bother trying to sell anything when they get to the outside at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally get to the outside, powder for like 5 or 10 seconds, and then, let's stand in a corner and look weak while what we're really doing is just watching for our next cue, motherfuckers.
Did you check the video I sent you on Instagram?
That doesn't look blatantly fucking obvious at all. What was the thing you sent to me?
I sent you a video on Instagram like 2 days ago.
Was it on Instagram or you sent it to me through Facebook?
It was on Instagram.
Okay, I'll check Instagram, I guess.
It's literally the Pac setting up for the moonsault off of the ring post in the corner with a timer.
Oh God! Oh Jesus!
35 seconds. And literally, you see Aussie Open for no reason, like roll to the outside and stand in that corner for no reason.
Right. Well, I think was it Aussie Open or was it Osprey and one of the members of Aussie Open? I can't remember.
I thought it was the two guys from Aussie Open.
It might have been both guys from Aussie Open, but I know at least one of them was in that corner from something that had happened. Like they both didn't just randomly show up there.
It shows them both powder, roll out, and just walk over to that corner and stand there.
Oh, right. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He was ready to hit the fucking...
Black Arrow or whatever. Some flippy.
Thank you. He was going to hit that, but whoever he was going to hit it on powdered out, so they didn't get hit by it. And then he was like, well, fuck this then. And back, that's what it was. All right.
Yeah. Because they fucked up the rehearsal. Because that's what happens when you rehearse every fucking spot.
They didn't fuck up the rehearsal. It just took Pac forever to get his fucking balance on the goddamn thing.
Well, that too, but still, like, he was going to do one thing and had to switch to the other. But I mean, it was like the entire opening fucking spot in that match was literally a rehash of Osprey and Ricochet from fucking 7 years ago.
Well aware.
But everyone's like, oh my God, this is amazing. No, this is boring.
My next note on the match is fuck Don Callis. Like, we didn't need him back. We didn't want him back, but he's fucking back apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who's... Let me rephrase, because the obvious answer would be Kenny Omega's. So I'm not going to ask whose dick is he sucking. Like, can't Kenny be more fucking creative than just going back to the Don Callis card?
Mm-hmm. It's all he knows how to do.
That shit should have been done and over once he dropped the belt. But whatever. What the fuck do I know? So after Callis, I made a note complaining about the fact there were 3 fucking commercial breaks during your main event.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should time out your show a little better so you don't take so many fucking breaks during your main event. Just saying.
But it's picture-in-picture, so it's okay.
Oh, suck a dick. It was two of those 3 PIP breaks were only PIP for half the break, and then they were full screen the rest of the way. Suck a dick at PIP.
I know.
Do we understand this whole Kip Sabian attacking Pac thing? Like, was this a thing while he was defending his All-Atlantic title overseas? Like,
no, this is just them giving Kip Sabian something to do.
Because they were making it sound like he had been following Pac around, and I don't remember any of this shit.
No. Like, they showed him a couple of times on Dynamite with the box on his head.
But I didn't think it was specifically for Pac, though.
No one did.
For Pac. Wait. Can they make a fucking decision what they want to fucking call this guy? I got half the announce table calling him Pac. I got half of them calling him Pac. Fucking make a decision on this, all right? Let's just roll with that. You know what? Fuck that. Let's just roll with whatever Justin Roberts says. That'd be a good thing to do. That way you don't make your ring announcer look like a dick, or half your announce team look like a bunch of dicks. Nah, fuck it. Let's just go with, as William Regal would say, the man in the mask, looking delectable as always.
The man in the mask, which there were two of in that fucking match. So, God, Regal would have been lost.
No, I was talking about the commentary table.
Oh, yeah.
He always calls fucking, what's his face, the man in
Sock
the mask.
face, yeah. I know.
Anyways, so...
By the way, you notice that Ray Phoenix is always the guy to take the pin in these matches?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I didn't even really thought about that, but yeah, that is kind of weird. It's kind of like if they kept La Faction together, it would have been Dragon Lee taking all the pins.
Yep.
In the end, Ospreay and Aussie Open win over Death Triangle, and they get to face the Elite this week on Dynamite.
And then we had to have the afterbirth with Kenny and the fucking Bucks.
Right. Which, sure.
No one cares.
Right. Like, I honestly don't want to see Fat Omega against Fat Ospreay.
Right.
I don't have any need for that.
And as much as I can't stand Kevin Nash gets the Zinger of the Week.
Oh, right. Please hold, because you sent me, because I had seen it. Let me pull this up real quick. So basically, so somebody had tweeted out about Ospreay's past week of matches and their star ratings. Like,
I thought it was the past month, but whatever. Yeah.
Well, it was August, but it had only been 2 weeks, really.
Okay.
Like there was a match with Okada from the finals from the G1.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was his semifinal match from the G1.
Yeah.
I think he had another random match at some point, and then it included his match on Dynamite, the 6-man. And fucking Nash's reply to this guy, it wasn't even Ospreay who tweeted it out. It was some other douche. At Wrestle Banana. We'll go with that. Kev's reply was, how's his merchandise sales? And then, of course, Ospreay's brilliant response was, did you tear your quads writing that tweet?
Like, dude, like...
Because you've heard that fucking comeback a million times by now.
Exactly. Like, and that just proves that Nash got under his fucking skin. Because, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't have responded at all.
Yeah.
No, but Nash got under his skin because Will Ospreay's a piece of shit. And Nash proves that he got it right. Because I was having a conversation with a friend where I was just like, we were talking about merch sales, and they were like, I think he's like number 15 on Pro Wrestling Tees. And I was just like, you know what's really sad? The person who's number 1 on Pro Wrestling Tees is still making less merch money than the bottom rung person in NXT right now.
Possibly. Real quick, let's run through Rampage because I'm sure you didn't watch it, and I just want to get to the 2 big stories. So, thanks to a distraction by Miro, the Dark Order upset the House of Black in the Trios tournament. So they move on to face Orange Cassidy and Best Friends this Friday on Rampage in the Trios semis.
Oi.
After the Miro distraction, though, House of Black jumps Miro, and then you can probably guess who came in for the save for Miro.
I have no clue.
Come on!
What, the Varsity Blondes? I don't fucking know.
No. Darby and Sting!
Oh, Jesus fuck. So now we're getting to the House of Black versus those 3. Wait a second, I called that!
Yes.
I called that a few weeks ago. Jesus. Yeah, I can't even remember my own fucking predictions.
Then we get a backstage interview with Hook. No, you should have seen this. I wish you had seen this, actually.
No.
So no. You're going to laugh. So Lexi Nair is backstage with Hook, interviewing him, and she asks him about what 2.0 had said about him the week before. And Hook said, sometimes on that. He said, quite frankly, I don't care. And he walks off.
Mm-hmm.
Less than 5 fucking seconds later, 2.0 enters the screen from the opposite side and asks Lexi Nair, where's Hook? As if they weren't just standing there off camera watching Hook getting interviewed by Lexi.
That's just like every interview segment where someone gets jumped from in front of the camera, where they're obviously staring at the camera, looking at the person who's about to attack them. It's terrible.
Yeah. Then Wardlow squashes Ryan Nemeth to retain the TNT title. Great. Then there's an Andrade, Roosh, and Private Party thing backstage. Sure. Powerhouse
Private
squashes...
Party get kicked out?
No, not yet. That'd be the operative word. Powerhouse destroys some poor schlub named Ashton Day.
Mm-hmm.
And then they show on screen after the match, they show the factory in the parking lot having beat down Ricky Starks for him. Sure.
Oy.
Then we get an interview backstage with Jade and the Baddies. Okay. Sammy and Ty defeat Ortiz and Ruby Soho in mixed tag action. And then the main event, Claudia retains the ROH World title over Dustin Rhodes.
For no reason.
All right. So there's 3 things we need to attack.
Yep.
That we glossed over or just didn't address at all while mentioning the Rampage and Dynamite results. Number 1, the thing that had nothing to do with either TV show, but I want to bring up quick.
Yeah.
So apparently, the reason Mr. Kingston has been off TV.
Oh, yes.
Is that him and Sammy Guevara apparently got into it backstage, and Eddie basically knocked the kid the fuck out. That's the conjecture. First of all, if that's true, and he really did knock Sammy out, Eddie, your next meal in Albany is on me. Just fuck all. I wish I was there to see it. But what's interesting is, on the back end of it, I guess some people that were trying to defend Sammy in the whole situation decided to go after Eddie Kingston's physical makeup, let's call it.
Yeah.
Basically calling him a fat ass is the long and short of it.
Yeah.
And of all people that come to his defense was Sammy fucking Guevara. So I don't know if this means they buried the hatchet. I don't know.
No. It means Sammy is trying to
save face. God damn, we're good. Yeah, very, very odd, but it's about time somebody punched him in the fucking face. I think he needed that.
Yes, I agree. And because the whole thing is because Sammy trying to save face because Sammy got knocked the fuck out for calling Eddie Kingston a fat ass during a promo. And we've covered a little bit of this here and there. Like I love Eddie. I'll always love Eddie. I do think that since getting signed by AEW, Eddie's gotten kind of lax in things. Because I mean, what was it? Just 6 months ago, Eddie made that big announcement that he was quitting smoking and he was going to hit the gym every day to get in really good shape so that he could, be a world title contender.
Let's be real. A lot of the big names that have signed with AEW have gone lax. Okay,
Agreed.
Let's just be real. Samoa Joe.
Right.
Always.
Eddie's not the only one. Right.
Keith Lee, Samoa Joe,
Jericho until recently.
Right, because he decided he wanted to go on tour and want to actually look like a human being.
Right. Moxley has like no muscle definition now.
Right. I mean,
yeah, there's a lot of guys that just like they're getting the paycheck. And
it's unfair to attack just one guy out of the bunch.
Right. Exactly. I agree with that. But yeah, it's we used to say the same thing about people. Me and Milano used to say the same thing about people that were on the indies and they got signed by WWE and then started looking a little bit pudgy. It's like, oh, they're getting that e-check. They're eating well now.
Oh God. Excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah. But yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not. Not at all. So
love them, but
I can't stand them. But
okay.
But yeah, it's just that these guys get this AEW check, and plus because they're on such a light schedule because they're only working 1 day a week, they just like WWE, they kind of stay on the guys, hit the fucking gym. You have to
Right.
look TV ready at all times.
It's part of the lifestyle.
It's yeah, exactly, part of the lifestyle. The AEW guys are just like, we're getting paid mad fucking money and we're beating Vince at his own game, even though you're not. So I don't have to put in the extra work.
That used to be too.
Yep. And
you saw a lot.
You saw a lot of that in WCW.
Yeah, especially when they weren't doing house shows for a while there.
Exactly. WCW was the guys it was more the guys getting nutty on Soma than it was getting nutty on the cafeteria. But still, like it's people just not caring, and it's starting to show. I mean, it's been showing, but it really shows in the product where, like, because it's that mentality of, oh, we don't have to look like chiseled Adonises because that's not what modern wrestling is. Guess what? God. For the casual fan, that's still what modern wrestling is. Mm-hmm. You have to, like, people want to bitch about Johnny Gargano's size. Yeah, he's short, but he's cut like he looks like he's cut out of fucking marble. Then you look at Adam Cole, who's 2 inches taller than Johnny Gargano.
I just, if you're going to go after one, go after the whole lot. There's no need to just single one person out, is where I'm at, basically.
Right. And it's like, has Eddie gotten lax? Yes, but he's not the only one. And it's a hard thing because, like I said, I love Eddie, and it sucks to see him, because it's hard. It's hard. It's like, I don't like hearing people dog on Eddie, but at the same time, I can see why.
Yeah, but here's the second thing though. So, if you recall a while back, in the early incantations or incarnations of AEW, one of the name-wise, not necessarily wrestling-wise, but name-wise, prominent females that AEW had was Ivelisse.
Yes.
And she left the company.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently part of the reasoning was some beef that she had with Thunder Rosa. Then we fast forward, and there's allegations and bullshit being thrown back and forth between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa about Thunder Rosa sandbagging. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now we're going to fast forward to what just happened last week in Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
And there's rumor conjecture out there that Thunder Rosa doesn't really have an injury.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of heat on her backstage, particularly with Britt Baker again.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple other girls, I think, too. I can't remember exactly who, to be honest.
Jamie Hayter.
But Britt's the main one.
It's because she broke Hayter's nose.
Right. Sure. So a lot of people are. There's rumor and conjecture out there that this is a way to have her let the shit blow over and cool off, and just sit on the sidelines for a little bit, and then my guess come back around. What the fuck is there?
Revolution.
What's their next big show? Revolution? Is it Revolution?
Yeah.
Double or Nothing. It's Revolution, then Full Gear, then Double or Nothing, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Revolution. So basically, I would say they want her to allow shit to cool off until Revolution, basically.
Right. Which
so essentially, go ahead.
The thing is, it's like, okay, so Rosa broke Jamie Hayter's nose. Jamie Hayter's a shitty worker, and it takes two to tango. So God knows it was, it was probably a botch on both ends. Whatever with that. Britt Baker's been a politicking cunt ever since she fucking set foot in that company.
At the same time, Jamie, suck it up, cupcake. It's a fucking physical. It's a physical.
Exactly. Job. Like, it's amazing how anywhere else Rosa has worked, there's never been any issues with her. Down in Mexico, MLW, NWA, no one else ever had a bad thing to say about Rosa. It's only the people in AEW that have a problem with Rosa.
AKA all the divas.
Exactly. And then they're good, they're yanking the title off her because she hasn't drawn as women's champion. Because after you had her fucking this is Tony Khan not knowing how to book long term. No matter what the fucking internet marks say about long-term booking, Tony Khan does not know how to book long term. Tony Khan was like, all right, we've had Rosa get beaten down by Britt Baker X amount of times. Now Rosa's going to get the belt. And now, I don't know.
Basically.
And so what's his solution? Let's put the belt back on fucking Britt Baker. And then let her have 20 minutes worth of promo time every fucking week for the God knows next 8 months.
Here's the other thing too, to kind of rewind a little bit to the initial start of all this stuff with Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest, Ivelisse, she's been causing shitstorms everywhere she's gone anyways.
Yep.
She caused shit in WWE, she caused shit in Lucha, and she caused shit in AEW.
Yep.
So everything with Ivelisse, that was kind of just blown over and nobody really put too much into that.
Yeah.
Like, why? I don't get it. Like, not that it's to say much, but she's one of your most polished talents in the ring in that women's division right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like fucking get over yourselves. There's the door. Check your fucking egos at it. If you can't do that, get the fuck out.
I'm hoping Rosa's contract expires and Trips gives her a call.
That'd be lovely. I'm not going to lie. That'd be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Could use a little pumping up the NXT roster. But
mm-hmm.
And then what's also intriguing, talk about awkward fucking timing, the same night that you're trying to resolve all your Punk Moxley unification storyline, which we're about to get to in a second. The same night you're resolving that in storyline, this shit's fucking happening in your women's division, and now you're basically rehashing what just happened in your world title division with the women's world title.
That's 3 times in his calendar year that they've done an interim champion with a fucking unification match eventually.
Right, the TNT title.
Yep. Because Cody was out for a week with COVID.
Right. So they put it on Sammy, and then they did the unification with Sammy and yeah, that was Jesus Christ. Thanks for reminding me of that.
Week.
Thanks for reminding me of that. Yeah. So finally we get to the shit show, the grandest shit show of all the shit shows this week.
Every generation needs a finger poke of doom.
Let's be real. You knew who was winning the match before Justin Roberts even did the introductions.
Because they were in Cleveland.
Wrong, sir. Not even that. By the way, he's in Cincinnati. I misquoted twice last week.
Right,
That's
it's still Ohio.
He's in Cincinnati, not Cleveland now. But
it's still Ohio.
But no, not even that. That doesn't even fucking matter. Unless they were really going to be, unless the true plan was Moxley wins in Cleveland and then you rehash it a week and a half later in Chicago and have Punk win it back, which would be the stupidest fucking thing they could have done.
Agreed.
But I don't even think that was even it. You could tell by the way CM Punk walked to and entered the ring.
Yes.
What was happening that night. You knew it. You already knew it. I didn't have to watch the 5-minute shit show to know this. I knew from the way he entered the ring that he was losing that belt. And what is one of the things, God damn it, what is one of the things you are supposed to know about the business? You don't fucking show.
You don't project that shit.
You don't project who's winning or losing the match.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing Gresham did at the ROH show.
That's the allure or the keeping the illusion alive in the minds of the fan. Where if you have a match where you generally don't fucking know, and that's like God's honest truth. Before we found out what we found out in the fallout of Dynamite, nobody really had a fucking clue what was going to happen because the match that was happening almost 2 weeks before it was supposed to fucking happen. So, like, there was a lot of questions being asked, a lot of this or that, like a lot of misdirection going on in people's minds about what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see him walk to the ring, and you're like, your winner, new champ, Jon Moxley. All right, turn it off. I could have turned it off and enjoyed the rest of my night. But no, because I'm an ethical journalist of a podcast host, I decided to watch the fucking shit. First of all, these two jackoffs didn't touch each other the first 40 seconds of what turned out to be a 4-minute match.
Yep.
It wasn't even a 5-minute match. It was a 4-minute match.
Agreed.
Not including intros.
Yep.
4 fucking minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2. If you really fucking think that anything about that ending was real, you need to fucking get a medical book. Sit down with a doctor. Go talk to an orthopedist.
Talk to me. I've had enough foot surgeries.
Yeah, talk to JJ. Go on WebMD.com. Do something. There's no fucking way that move would wreck your foot the way he was looking at it.
Right.
It wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because you watch him do the move, he doesn't roll on the foot. He doesn't roll his ankle.
He spins.
He doesn't like accidentally lean on the instep of the foot. He fucking did the kick normal. And then all of a sudden, oh, my foot. Oh, my foot. Oh, my foot. Get the fuck out of here. You know what that was? That was CM Punk refusing to do business yet again.
Yep.
Because he wanted to go cry to Mommy and AJ. Or, yeah, that's AJ's real fucking name. You want to go cry. You want to go cry wolf.
Mm-hmm.
And say, oh, poor me. They don't want to keep the belt on me. Oh, poor me. And instead of giving the fans something quality, he decides to shit all over the fans, shit on the company, shit on Tony Khan, which isn't that hard to do, but still, he decides to shit all over everything. He basically decided to shit on everything he said the night he came back in Chicago last August.
Yep.
And gave you...
Took a dump in the ring.
He gave you 4 minutes.
He couldn't even post correctly for Moxley's finisher. Which, how many times is it ever going to change the name of Moxley's finisher? Is what I want to know.
Oh, because they called it...
he called it Death Rider instead of the Paradigm Shift.
Yeah, because that's what they call it in New Japan. They call it Death Rider.
Okay, that's nice.
Oh, I know. It's stupid. I know. Why they call it Death Rider in New Japan instead of the Paradigm Shift, I don't fucking know. But that's just, I know. That's the only reason I knew why they called it, why he probably called it that.
Probably has something to do with the translation.
Maybe. Sure. Maybe the word paradigm doesn't translate nice. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But anyways, like, I mean, there's nobody in their right fucking mind. I don't care how much of a basement goblin you are. I don't care how much you've jacked off to Money in the Bank 2012. I don't care. I don't care if you went and pre-ordered that stupid ass 1-year anniversary hockey jersey from AEW.
$130 fucking dollars. Jesus.
Suck a dick. I wouldn't pay $2 for that. All right. Like, I don't care. I don't fucking care. I don't care how much of a CM Punk mark you are. You cannot sit here and tell me on Monday, August 29th, 2022 at 2:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that CM Punk wasn't going into business for himself. You can't say that. Mm-hmm. You can't.
Agree.
It was, and there's been a few of them, but that was the biggest shit stain on AEW since its inception.
Yeah.
Give me another.
That's a good question. Because I saw a lot of people comparing this to Brody squashing Cody for the TNT title. I'm like, that's not even in the same fucking ballpark. I was like, they needed to put Brody over as a monster when that happened.
Right. It's not even an argument.
Right.
That's a horrible choice for anybody to try to compare it to.
Wardlow doing the job to Punk after Wardlow gave him 11 power bombs. That was a pretty big shit stain.
I don't know if that was a shit stain per se.
That was just horrible because Wardlow was in the middle of a giant ass fucking insurgence.
That
and
was just
they had him
was just horrible.
They had him kill Punk.
Right, that was horrible creative decision making, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I really can't think of the only thing I can think of. But again, it plays into the way they were rebuilding Wardlow after already fucking him up once.
True.
Was the way they basically had Scorpio Sky look like absolute shit, dropping the way he dropped the TNT title to Wardlow.
True. Yeah.
That's really the only thing I can even remotely think of.
Yeah.
That comes close. And it's not even that close.
Yeah.
Like what are we doing here?
No,
like,
this is
if you knew that fuck CM Punk. This was Phil Brooks doing Phil Brooks. All right. Yep. And if you had any hunch of an idea, if you had any inkling that Phil was going to do Phil that night, you should have just said, fuck you, get out.
Right.
You should have, you know what honestly would have done everyone a world of good? Tony should have said, fuck you, get out, give me my belt. Go pull a Vince Russo for 3 minutes. I would have preferred Tony doing that and then just openly declaring Moxley his world champion and saying, fuck you to Punk, we're not re-signing you, blah, blah, blah. I would have preferred that shit than what they let Phil walk out and do on live TV.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least if TK did that, I would have been like, okay, we're bleeding reality into the story. I can take that. I would have been okay with that. As much as he would have looked coked out of his mind and it would have been nonsensical gibberish.
Yeah.
I would have at least appreciated that instead of him allowing Shitstain to go out there and fuck up everything for 4 minutes of TV.
Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts in this that it's ridiculous because so no matter what they do now, there's no coming back from this. You can't schedule a rematch in Chicago and no one's going to buy the pay-per-view because you gave away the match and you lasted. It doesn't matter if the match lasts fucking 35 minutes. It doesn't matter because you gave away this bullshit and pulled an injury angle during it. As someone who has had fucking several fucking leg and foot surgeries, you don't come back from shit in 10 days. You can't very well, 49. So fucking you can't very well say like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And then, I'm going to tape it up and I'm going to go out there and blah, blah, blah. No.
That's not how broken bones work.
Exactly. This goes back to what I was saying was that Punk was never truly hurt. Punk won the fucking title at the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view numbers came in. He said, okay, I've done my part. I want the summer off. And instead of going, oh, well, we're going to give you the Lesnar route and have you not fucking show up on TV. We're going to say you're injured and do this interim champion bullshit. And then when summer's over, we'll have you come back and we'll have you fucking win the belt again. But then then Punk realized, hey, it's August. It's been a year. My contract's up for renegotiation. Time to fuck around and find out. And here's the thing is Moxley's contract is also up for renegotiation within the next month or so. Here's the thing. Moxley's making $6 million a year. Punk's making 10 a year. Who are you going to put your belt on? The guy you're going to save money on. And the guy who, when asked to, went out there and worked every week for the summer. Granted, the matches were awful and he decided to bleed all over the fucking place. Mox at least still went out and worked every week.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing you can't fault Jon Moxley for is going to bat for this fucking company, which he's still doing. And I'm like, dude, stop it.
Right.
Because you could be a lot happier if you go back to WWE.
Yeah,
but,
well.
I mean, because he cut the promo off the air after Rampage about, thanks for coming here instead of tuning into that shit on Monday or Friday nights. And all that stuff. And I was just like, dude, like, you have a home there if you want to go back.
Right.
And Tony Khan is just, he may act like he's your friend, but he's not. He's nobody's friend. He's a two-faced fucking rich boy. And people know this. That's why people like fucking Big Swole have come out against him. And the whole thing is like you have no recourse for this no matter what you do. And everyone's like, oh, now they're going to bring MJF back. No, they're not. Warner Discovery doesn't want MJF on TV. And you can't very well go against what Warner Discovery wants when you are up for contract negotiations with them in the next few months.
Yep.
And that's the thing, is that's this is the worst possible time for them to have done something like this, because AEW fucking is not going to have a home for TV come next year now. And the thing is, Tony Khan signed all these people through deals through 2023 and 2024, and he's going to have to fucking pay them whether they have TV or not. Mm-hmm. And that's another reason why all these like lower level people are getting on TV now, is because their contracts are about to come up. And Tony wants to be able to say, well, I gave you TV time, so now you have stock when you want to go somewhere else. People like Sonny Kiss and Kip Sabian and all them, who obviously he's not going to re-sign. And then you just, it's just fucking hilarious how people have been saying Punk is a piece of shit for years, and this just proves it. And people still don't want to deal with it. People still want to be like, oh no, this is long-term storytelling. No, it's fucking not.
It'll be funny as shit now that I think about it.
What?
They book Moxley against a mystery opponent for All Out.
Yeah.
You get to All Out. Moxley makes his entrance. He's standing there waiting for his opponent. Colt Cabana! Just to completely shit on CM Punk in Chicago. I would laugh my ass.
Have Colt Cabana come out in the CP Monk outfit.
That's just fighting fire with fire, my friend. So,
but I mean, and this doesn't even cover the come to Jesus meeting that Khan had with the locker room before Dynamite.
What the fuck that was about?
That was about, okay, number one, that's Chris Jericho stirring the shit pot, trying to make himself worth more than he is. Because Jericho goes to Khan and goes, WWE contacted me and they want to bring me in to form a stable with KO and Sammy. No, they fucking didn't. Out of anyone in AEW that Triple H might have thought about contacting, Chris Jericho is not on that fucking list.
Correct. Chris
Jericho is in his fucking 50s. He is a diva when it comes to the schedule he wants to work, and no one wants to touch him right now because he's still ensconced in all this January 6th bullshit. He's lucky he has a fucking job where he is. Mm-hmm. But he goes and tells Tony Khan this because his contract's coming up too, and he wants to squeeze more blood from that stone. And so he says, oh, Triple H contacted me. No, they fucking didn't. And so what happens? Then Tony Khan goes and starts trying to swing around his micro dick, be it all, you're all going to listen to me. And I had my lawyer contact Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon. And they were like, Marcus Spam. And it just goes to show who is really running the fucking show there when Tony Khan has this come to Jesus meeting, and then he has Kenny, the Bucks, and Jericho all talk down to the fucking locker room.
Lovely.
Like, that did nothing for your morale. If anything, that made everything worse. And any person whose contract is coming up is going to be like, you know something? Maybe I should make a phone call to Florida, because maybe I shouldn't be here anymore.
Yeah, fuck this shit, basically. All right.
Like, he literally went Russo on them.
No bueno. All right. So, All Out's this coming weekend. Like we mentioned, there's no world title match right now, but here's what we do know. We do know we have the finals of the Trios Championship Tournament.
Which will be the Bucks, which will be the Elite versus the fucking Best Friends.
It's what we would assume, yes. The six-man tag I mentioned earlier, Wardlow and FTR against Lethal and the Machine Guns. Mm-hmm. The four-way for the women's world title, the vacant, the interim. Title. My apologies. Storm, Baker, Hayter, and Sheeta. The Casino Ladder match, which we don't even know who the fuck's in it. Mm-hmm. Danielson against Jericho. The tag title, Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed. Jungle Boy versus Christian, Starks against Hobbs, and then Cargill defending the TBS title against Athena. That is your card thus far.
And the problem is that sounds like an episode of Dynamite. This is what happens when you give away shit on free TV all the time.
Fair. I'll give you that. It's pretty close. Do we want to take a guess if any belts change hands? Because we're assuming the trios titles are going to go on the Elite.
Yep.
And as far as the interim women's title, I think we're both in agreement on Baker more than likely.
I think they might put it on Tony Storm.
All right, so Baker or Storm, we'll say.
Yeah.
I don't see Swerve and Our Glory dropping. Well,
No.
Depends. How long is the contract for Swerve and Keith?
It's at least a year.
All right, so maybe they'll keep the belts on them. Actually, honestly, if the Gun Club doesn't get added to the match, they probably cost the Acclaim the match. So we'll go with Swerve and Our Glory.
Yeah.
T-Best title, who really fucking cares?
But Jade's keeping that shit because Khan doesn't know how to do, he once again painted himself into a corner where he made this green as leprechaun shit bitch like the fucking unstoppable force.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't fucking know. All right. So let's move on to good wrestling. Start with NXT.
Okay.
So we open NXT. Braun invites Bate out to the ring. They officially make their match for unifying the belts at Worlds Collide.
Here's the one thing that I don't like. Tyler Bate was a heel in NXT UK.
He's technically, not in his match against Von Wagner later that night, but technically,
right.
I guess.
But in UK, literally 3 weeks ago, they had him turn on Trent Seven.
They're cheering for him in Florida because they don't fucking know,
because they don't watch the UK product.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The only reason they're booing Gallus is because of who they've been booked against.
Exactly.
Which, speaking of that, so Pretty Deadly and Lash Legend attack Briggs, Jensen, and Fallon to cause him a count-out loss against Gallus, and then Gallus gets attacked by Diamond Mine after the match.
Like I said, we're going to get a 4-way ladder match at Worlds Collide.
Well, it sets up 2 6-person tags for this week on NXT.
Yes.
We've got Diamond Mine, which is the Creeds and Damon Kemp against Gallus.
Mm-hmm.
And then Briggs, Jensen, and Fallon Henley against Pretty Deadly and Lash Legend. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I would kind of assume you probably going to get a 4-way unification at Worlds Collide. Hasn't been announced yet, but that'll be my assumption.
Which this is what's really funny was AEW wanted to do the whole bunch of belts suspended above the ring ladder match that they decided to scrap for the trios belts, and here NXT is going to do it.
Assuming it's a ladder match, yeah, probably. Do we know who this Charlie dude was in the Chase U package that they did?
That's William Regal's son, dude.
Oh, that's who it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So kid knows what he's doing.
So we had the Chase U package where William Regal's son is basically stretching out a couple dudes from Chase U, and fucking Andre Chase calls the class from Chase U soft. Funny coming from him. Anyways, then we have the Grayson, the debut of the Grayson Waller effect. The Grayson Waller effect. His guest being Apollo Crews. And yeah. So that basically helped set up a match this week on NXT between Waller and Crews. And those are the only 3 pre-announced matches for the show, by the way.
They acknowledge the accent.
Yes.
Which, I mean, yeah. I've covered it here before.
It was bound to happen, so whatever.
Right, but I mean, at least they covered it. But it's the fact that Uha used to have that accent, and Uha learned non-regional diction when traveling the U.S., but he can revert back to his accent at any given time. It's like fucking Mel Gibson and Nicole Kidman with their Australian accents.
Turn it on, turn it off.
Exactly. But people are like, oh, it's a fake. No, it's fucking not.
People just don't want to do research.
Right.
Then we get Pretty Deadly and Gallus interacting backstage. Tyler Bate vignette, whatever. Then Wagner and Stone get interviewed backstage.
Mm-hmm.
Then Cameron Grimes beats Javier Bernal
Yep.
while Schism was watching in the Bird's Nest.
Yep.
Then we get a Blair Davenport vignette, an
Mm-hmm.
Alba Fire vignette,
Mm-hmm.
and then Blair Davenport defeats Indy Hartwell. Blair calls herself rightfully the NXT Women's title. Mandy Rose comes out
because she'd be
because she was the
won a number
contender
one
for the
contenders match
women's-
in UK, and they just haven't been able to
Right.
cash in on it.
And then Mandy Rose comes out and basically says, fuck you. Then the UK women's champ, Miko Satomura, comes out and says, fuck you both.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically make a triple threat unification match for Worlds Collide.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got a Tiffany Stratton backstage interview, JD McDonough vignette, Wesley, Caden Carter, and Katana backstage. Who cares? Then we cut back to the ring where Indy's still fucking there for whatever fucking reason. And she's cutting this weird promo about, I don't know if I should be here still kind of thing. And then out pops fucking Dexter Loomis from under the ring.
Yay!
We get an Index reunion.
Yay!
But then they get backstage to the front doors of the PC, and Dex hands Indy a note, basically saying, I love you, I'll see you soon. And then Dex gets arrested by cops from assuming what would be the kidnapping of the Miz the night before on Raw.
Right. Continuity.
If we're gonna mix the worlds together, that'll be my assumption what the fuck was happening.
Yeah.
Then Cora Jade backstage interview, who cares? Then the Dyad beats Joaquin and Cruz while Grimes is watching in the Bird's Nest.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually Santos pulls up and picks up the rest of Legato in the parking lot. So now it looks like all of Legato's probably going up.
Yep.
Thoughts on that?
It's time. I mean, except for Carmen Sandiego, like it's time. Even though I'm not the biggest fan.
Well, my assumption is they're not even going to put her in the ring on the main roster.
Right? No. Yeah. No. I mean, unless they rehash them versus Hit Row.
Hit Row. Then Tyler Bate defeats Von Wagner.
Punch him in the dick.
And then Diamond Mine and Briggs and Jensen backstage. And Roddy being Roddy.
Yeah.
Fuck him at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Then Wendy Chu beats Tiffany Stratton in a lights out match as the main event.
That was they took lights out too literally.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
and fucking Mike Roch decided to have a coronary. ISW.
Oh, with the Legos.
I was sitting there watching. I was like, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
I will tell you though, at least so Wendy Chu, they got getting her out of the footy pajamas makes her look like more of a fucking worker. Like I couldn't take it. Like now she looks like a worker.
That was probably a Triple H decision.
Yeah. And no more fucking hippity hop.
Hippity hop. And then as we're going off the air, we see the contracts being signed for the 2 unification belts matches being booked.
Yeah.
So basically for Worlds Collide right now, all we've got are those 2 unification matches officially booked. Obviously we're assuming they'll book a 3rd unification bout for the tag titles.
Yep.
Somewhere along the lines tomorrow night on NXT.
Yep.
Obviously we'll see what happens. Now, other than that, I don't know what the fuck else they're going to book for Worlds Collide.
They'll do Wesley and Mello. They'll do Grimes versus Gacy.
Do you think they're ready that Wesley and Mello is ready for now?
Might as well.
Or do you think they'll hold off on that till Halloween Havoc?
No,
assuming that's the next special.
Yeah, that's too far away.
6 weeks?
Still.
Yeah.
It's a lot of TV to fill.
Okay. And my assumption would be they'll probably also do some of the women's tag titles. Who? I don't fucking know. But,
right. Because the Toxic Attraction's injured, so.
Well, Gigi Dolan's injured, not.
Still.
JC Jane's still working out in the gym. SmackDown. I'll admit I fucked up and didn't record it because I forgot they weren't on Fox this week. They were on FS1, I believe.
They were on Fox. I was watching it.
Well, I didn't. I don't know. My DVR must have been fucked up then because they didn't record.
Yeah,
The
I
fucking
watched it.
But here's what I got. Here's the gist of what I got. Ricochet beat Corbin in the opening match.
Yep.
Then we showed a video package of McIntyre, followed by a pre-tape promo of Cross and Scarlett.
Yeah, it was a good promo
Uh,
segment by Cross and Scarlett. The McIntyre thing was just the one that they've been airing.
yeah, they've been airing a bunch of shit, basically pubbing his Clash of the Castle match.
Yeah, they basically it was basically showing like chosen one, and then I got fired, and then yada yada. Yeah.
Oh, that shit again. God,
yeah.
damn. I keep fucking. Oh my god.
I know.
Then Natty and so
there were 2 matches.
Right.
In the same night.
Right. But this is my point. This goes back to what I fucking brought up last week.
Mm-hmm. They should have just given him the bye.
Yeah.
I know.
You just end up putting Natty and Sonya as the replacements only to get beat anyways.
Yep.
What's the fucking point?
Yep.
But Natty and Sonya win the second chance 4-way to advance to the SmackDown finals later that night, which they end up losing to Raquel and Aaliyah to put them into the finals, which will be tonight on Raw against Io Sky and Dakota Kai to crown new women's tag champs.
Which we know Io and Dakota are winning.
And we know Sasha and Naomi are probably showing up any day now.
Probably. Which means I'm waiting. We need to start a countdown clock because fucking Andrew Zarian said if Sasha and Naomi show back up in WWE, he will quit reporting for the wrestling. He will quit wrestling reporting for good. So I'm fucking waiting.
Let's hold him to it.
I'm fucking waiting.
Then we get the Brawling Brutes coming out. Sheamus cuts a promo. Then Gunther and Kaiser interrupt. And then they end the segment with Butch.
Oh my god.
Butch jumping Twitter. Kaiser while Sheamus and Gunther were just standing there.
I love Twitter so much.
Interesting.
Because Pete Dunne posted something on Twitter. It was a still of him beating up Kaiser, and it just in all caps it says, Gunther is a stupid name.
I did see that on Twitter. I forgot about that. Then Roman and Sammy have another sit down backstage. The Raquel and Aaliyah match, like I mentioned. Then New Day cuts a promo. The Viking Raiders interrupt, but then New Day chases them out of the ring with kendo sticks. So maybe that'll be a match at Clash of the Castle.
No, the blow-off matches because they pre-taped 2 weeks of SmackDown this week, and they had the blow-off matches is airing next week already.
Then we get Maximum Male Models and Los Lotharios spray painting a bus they thought was Hit Row's. Then Hit Row comes out and goes, not so much. And then eventually who walks out of the bus is Street Profits.
Yeah.
Because reasons.
Yeah.
Then we get another Drew video package because we fucking needed it. And then Drew beats Sami Zayn in the main event, but then Drew gets laid up by Bloodline and Sami as they go off the air.
And Sammy's officially part of the Bloodline for now.
Good for him. Good for him.
Until Sammy has a crisis of conscience in a few weeks and flips babyface
Kevin Owens
and
gets
joins
drafted
KO.
to SmackDown.
Yeah. So now they're saying they want to hold off the draft. So God knows when it's going to fucking happen.
Yeah, nobody fucking knows anything anymore. So Clash of the Castle, we have officially 5 matches booked for the show.
And they'll probably add 1 or 2 more within the next.
That would be my assumption. But here's where we're at. Should we spoil SmackDown for this week or just let it go for now?
I mean, not a lot happened on it other than Pete Dunne coming out in his Pete Dunne gear, not dressed as Butch anymore. They still called him Butch.
Let me take a peek. Because I know I saw that the spoilers were already posted. So, by the way, did you see the shit that happened in Pro Wrestling Noah over the weekend?
No.
Let me put it this way. If you're going to throw kicks, so obviously you know the whole thing that Brian Danielson does, that eventually the Miz stole from him with the fucking chest kicks.
Yeah.
Okay. Some schmuck decided to do a running one off the ropes at Pro Wrestling Noah over the weekend.
Jesus.
But decided not to aim properly. So instead he kicked the poor schmuck in the face.
Oh.
Knocked him out, broke his jawline, match had to be stopped. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, know what the fuck you're doing before you do it. SmackDown. Okay. spoilers. So Cross
Beat Drew Gulak. You're frozen.
lifts Rousey's suspension.
Yeah.
And Pierce calls her the single biggest bitch he's ever met.
Yep.
Adam, good for you. You probably don't mean it, but good for you. That's funny.
Yeah.
Then Hit Row beats Maximum Male Models, Los Lotharios. Then worked with Maximum Male Models to attack Hit Row after the match, but then Street Profits covered for Hit Row.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Then Happy Corbin issued an open challenge. Nakamura answered and beat Corbin.
Yep.
Which beat Ludwig Kaiser.
Mm-hmm.
And then the end of the end of the show is Viking Raiders beating the New Day in a Viking rules match,
which is basically just a no DQ match. Yep.
And it ends with Kofi being put through a stack of tables.
Yep.
Always Kofi doing those fucking spots. Bless his soul. So real quick, the current card for Clash of the Castle, which is Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to double check what time it's at. I don't remember.
I think it's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, 1 p.m. I see the poster now. 1 p.m. Saturday afternoon Eastern.
That's where we got the confusion because you thought Worlds Collide was at 1. Worlds Collide is at 3 and Clash is at 1. Yeah.
Which, by the way, I know that maybe the crossover doesn't exist that much, but talk about a shitty weekend. The opening week, the real opening weekend of college football is the weekend you're pulling off this show. Fun. But anyways, Clash of the Castle, 5 official matches right now. Roman versus Drew. Liv against Shayna Baszler for the SmackDown Women's title. Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka against Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Riddle versus Rollins, and Gunther versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental title. I wouldn't expect a tag title match because we all know the Usos have visa issues. So there's that.
I think they're going to probably add a stipulation to Rollins and Riddle because on the house show circuit, they've been making it different stipulations. Just Saturday, they were in Springfield for Saturday night's main event show, and I believe it was a Falls Count Anywhere match.
I could see that because that rivalry's been that intense, so it wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah.
Trying to see if there's anything else real quick here. Yeah, that's really it for Clash of the Castle. Apparently, Conrad Thompson's throwing together some kind of fundraiser for Mongo McMichael. That's nice. Good on Conrad.
How about instead of throwing a fundraiser, you just donate some fucking money? It's not like he doesn't have it.
Just a preview of tonight's Raw. Sami Zayn and the Usos will be at the Lashley will be in a non-title match against The Miz. Let's see. Kurt Angle is scheduled to appear because they're in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And then obviously the women's tag title finals is tonight as well. Yep. And then they also have Seth and Riddle in a segment.
Right, which will probably set up the stipulation.
Did you see who got hired today as a new coach for the Performance Center?
No.
Santana Garrett.
Interesting.
Wrestling since 2009, several years on the indie scene, brief stint in Impact. Also worked for Shine, WoW, and Stardom. And then I also think she was in at least one of the Mae Young Classics.
Yes, she was. I just hope this means she's going to be working in collaboration with Sarah and that Sarah's not thinking of quitting.
Correct. I would agree with that.
But I mean, and here's the also thing though is if they're hiring another female coach, why wouldn't Trips extend the olive branch back to Allison Danger after she got fucked?
Fair.
Of course, maybe Allison just didn't want to return his phone calls.
Before I get into the thing I want to close the show with, So this AEW video game that nobody seems to really know when the fuck it's coming out, although it's been teased as coming out around New Year's Eve, according to Amazon.
That's the pre-order date is New Year's Eve.
So that means it's actually going to come out like what, spring of 2023, I guess.
Right. Not even for Christmas, which would be your biggest fucking selling point.
Did you hear who's not going to be in the video game?
FTR. Even though there's footage of them in the game, they did screen captures and apparently they recorded crowd noise of people chanting for FTR.
Brain damage.
Supposedly we're going to make FTR downloadable content. Motherfucker.
Why would they be downloadable? Oh my God.
You're telling me in a game that still has Cody in it and that CM Punk is in, you're going to take a team that's been there a year longer than Punk and not have them in the game and make them DLC, but Owen Hart and Paul White as Captain Insano are permanent characters in the game when those should be your fucking DLC.
But I want to be Captain Insano. Might as well fucking make a... what was the character Savage played in Spider-Man? What the fuck was his character?
Bonesaw.
Yeah, might as well make him a fucking main character too while you're at it.
Bonesaw needs money.
Okay. I need to get on my soapbox for a hot minute here.
Okay.
Because I don't think you even know all the details about what I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
I'm going to preface it by saying...
Oh, boy.
I'm going to preface it by saying this is not an attack on the brand new, just opened this weekend at the MVP Arena in Albany. This is not me attacking the new International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, which just celebrated its second induction ceremony of the weekend. This is not me attacking them.
Mm-hmm.
This is me specifically pleading to them. Now, the background I have is that apparently one of the main figures behind the scenes with the Hall of Fame asked the main bigwigs not to book their Hall of Fame weekend show out to NYCW, but was told essentially, and I quote, "We owe them for them helping us out last year." Because the story behind the 2021 inaugural weekend was a local promoter who does a lot of like autograph signings and is very involved with like a lot of legends, Scott Wilder. He was originally tabbed to put that show together last August in 2021. Something came up. I never asked what. I'm not going to add to any conjecture. That's what I was told. I'm not going to add any rumor or conjecture about it. I don't care. It is what it is. I was booked on the show by Scott originally. Whatever, shit falls through. Scott ends up not running the show anymore. And that came up, I want to say it was like less than 2 months before the show was supposed to
I remember, yeah.
So shit hits the fan, and last second, the Hall of Fame decides to allow NYCW to come in and run that show as a favor. They do whatever they do. They end up not reaching out to most of the talent that was originally booked for the original show, including me, whatever. That also includes, oh, fuck me. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Rich Palladino?
Yes, thank you. That includes him. They didn't reach out to him either. And they ran their show, whatever. They got through it. This year, the basic mentality was, well, we owe them for helping us out last year, so we're going to throw them a bone and have them run this year's show. Now, we've shit on NYCW before on this program for a couple different reasons.
Because they use Me Too alumni.
That being one of them, yes. I think another had something to do with their title situation, which was a fucking mess at one point, but that's neither here nor there.
It's always a mess.
So, let's just put it out there. Weeks before the show, NYCW was pubbing. This is not me defending this guy either. Just the first example of shit going sideways. NYCW was pubbing Fox Vineyard, who's from the Waterville Elite area, as being on the show. for one reason or another, now knowing Fox, it could have been him being an asshole to them or whatever. Actually, no, I know what it was. Now that I remember, now that I'm really thinking about it. Apparently, after these announcements were starting, Fox was trying to go into business for himself because he didn't want to drop whatever title he was holding in NYCW.
Calling me shocked.
So, NYCW basically gave a big fuck you and not only took the belt off him, whatever way they decided to, but they also decided, fuck you, you're not going to be in the show in your hometown.
That
was the first fuck all. Now, this is not me defending Fox or defending NYCW, but like, you could have waited before completely fucking that bridge over. But anyways, so day of show. Oh, actually, even before that, if you look at this show and the card they produced, I'm sorry, that is not a Hall of Fame weekend worthy show. Okay? I could go see, was it Anthony Anderson? Andrew Anderson? What the fuck's his name?
Andrew. Well, Andrew Anderson. Yeah.
I want to go see him. I'll go to fucking Florida and watch him perform in front of a bunch of 70-somethings pushing walkers around Florida. All right?
They usually booked in New Jersey.
They also booked some other dude that was old and just, I don't even want to know how the fuck he moved around the ring. That's how bad it was. Bear with me as I try to pull up this poor schlub. It was god awful. It was. I'm really trying to find this fucking thing. Basically, it looked like Rick Martel went out and gained 100 pounds and aged 35 years.
Oof.
It's the best way for me to summarize the way this dude looked. It was pretty fucking atrocious. It was awful. But anywho, I'll try to find the pictures for you after the show. But it was just not a good look. Just god awful. So you put together a card that isn't really being called a Hall of Fame weekend card.
They didn't even fucking announce any of the matches on the event page for it.
I'm trying to find.
I found the event page, and I see a list of who they had on it, but they don't have any matches listed for the show that happened this past weekend. It said featuring Christina Marie, Adam Stone, Black Rose, Black and Yellow, Chris Caden, Cody Hall, Sean Phoenix, HVO, Massacre, Mad Dog and Jimmy Limits, and AEW's Your Joel. That's who they had advertised for.
Yep. Oh, you look at the okay. So we go to NYCW's actual Facebook page and try to see.
Johnny Moran.
No. Virgil was even eventually at the show, by the way.
Yep.
Doing something. I don't remember what.
They advertised the Rock and Roll Express, Bushwhacker, Luke and Rachel Ellering, but I don't know if any of them actually showed up.
They did, actually.
Okay.
I was shocked.
They spelled Waterville wrong on the fucking poster.
Shocker. This is my shocked face. For those of you who aren't catching the video stream of our show, it was me being completely straight-faced and not shocked at all. King Kalua. That's the fucking name I was thinking of.
Oh, they booked Lou Bruno too. Yay.
So, now let's get past the show, which apparently was a shit show backstage the entire time from everything I've been hearing. Because a good friend of mine is part of two good friends of mine are part of the Hall of Fame staff. One of them, you probably heard of him, Mr. Man. The other, Mike Falvo, who he does the media relations for the Hall of Fame. And he does a lot of ring announcing around this area. The real shit show comes afterwards, though. They didn't pay their doctor day of show.
Duh!
And I want you to guess how many talents they paid before everybody left that night.
I'm going to say the names and no one else.
Essentially, yeah. And the excuse they used was, well, we did our pre-sales on Eventbrite, and they don't let you get the money till 7 days after.
Bullshit.
So, basically what happened over the weekend was Saturday and Sunday, talents going to Twitter saying basically what Robert De Niro said to
fuck
Maury
you, pay me.
Goodfellas. Yes. Fuck you, pay me. Yeah. Yeah. Real fucking shit show there.
I'm going to give a little piece of advice right now. This little piece of advice from a promoter. And I'm only saying this because I noticed that they actually have a website. If your company has a bona fide World Wide Web website and you're using Eventbrite or brown paper tickets or any of those services to sell tickets for your shows, you're a fucking idiot. Number one, it's just so you can use that excuse. But number two, the percentage that they take out to sell your tickets is insane. If you have a bona fide domain, I will tell you right now, as an e-commerce person, it is easier to go and open up an account with Shopify, because Shopify will give you an option to add a Shopify shopping cart to your website for $9 a month, which is a hell of a lot cheaper than any of these ticket services offer. And that's if you want to spend $9. Here's a way to do it if you don't. And it's the way that Ed Wood does it for us. Have a PayPal account. Say you want to buy tickets? Here's the PayPal address. Boom, done. You don't even have to. You can make a fucking QR code for it.
Yeah. If you don't want to do PayPal, Venmo, Cash App.
See, I don't trust Venmo and Cash App because there's a lot of scammers with that.
Well, I'm just saying,
yeah,
there's other viable ways where you can get the money right away, or at least within 24 hours.
Exactly.
And without a massive fee coming out.
Right.
I want to say the transfer fee from a Venmo to a bank is like 1% of 2% of your fucking withdrawal.
Right.
Yeah. Come on. So to cap off this story, it hasn't ended. And this is what High Voltage Omar posted today on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
To picture him standing on the middle turnbuckle at the show this weekend and having the phrase, "Where's my money?" typed into it. So it's 3 days after show. There's 3 days after show, and we still have talents not paid from this show.
And this is why this generation of workers is soft. If this was 10 years ago, the workers would have rolled that promoter's car in the parking lot.
And by the way, I have an exact list of who got paid. Let me give you the exact list of who got paid. Virgil obviously was one. I'm sure you assumed that.
Bushwhacker, Ricky Morton.
Let's see here. The exact list of who got paid. The doctor has been paid, by the way, but the fact they didn't pay him night of was fucking ridiculous.
Yes.
Where? So Kalua, Anderson, basically all the last minute additions got paid. And obviously the names like you mentioned.
That's ridiculous.
But none of the core talent from the actual company that's run shows every month or so, or the local boys you booked for the local flavor, none of them got paid that night. Mm-hmm. And haven't been paid as of this recording at 3:30 on Monday afternoon. Fuck you. And you wonder why I'm itching to get back into the fucking business somehow, with someone. You wonder why. Because shit like this that pisses me off. And I'm pretty sure a local company, by the way, ran a I don't know if it was an unlicensed show or not, but it was a questionable show over the weekend for free. I'm not going to throw under the bus who exactly, but yeah. And it's in the area where I was scouting to have a show done in the near future too. It wasn't the exact location, but it was within the confines of like 10 minutes of where I was thinking about running.
Gotcha.
Just fuck you too. So yes, again, this is not about the Hall of Fame. It's more about NYCW. NYCW, go fuck yourselves. And the Hall of Fame, if you need a promoter that will run a show for you, that will actually have a Hall of Fame caliber show, I know a couple of guys. Just saying. Hi. Fuck this first. Hi. Any hooser. You have anything else you want to bring up before we wrap up?
Yes.
What's that?
Our sister company is coming back to Connecticut.
I saw that. Interspecies is coming back. What was that? November?
November to remember. I'm not a fan of the name.
Gee, I wonder why.
But yes, Black Friday, November 25th at the Beer X, which is it's a brewery in East Haven, Connecticut. It's been announced. There's tickets on sale online. Nothing has been announced yet. They're still working out the match card. I know I'll be there in capacity of some sort. Just cause. But I know that they're still booking out the card and they're going to start announcing matches within the next couple of weeks. I'm doing a little bit of politicking, but we'll keep you updated.
East Haven, huh?
Listen, it's not my choice of where they run.
East Haven, huh?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I know.
You can interpret that however the fuck you want.
Oh,
I love Matt. Jesus Christ. Anyways, God. All right. Anything else, sir?
That'll be it right now.
That being said, that does it for episode 64 of White Heat, presented by Godzilla Media, sponsored by our friends at Johnstone Supply, and also sponsored by our friends at Mohawk Honda, where, hey, go buy a vehicle. I'm just kidding. Well, I mean, you should, but hey, it's also a good time for you to trade in your vehicle or just flat out sell it to them, because right now it's a seller's market. You'll even get more than you originally paid for your vehicle if you go to Mohawk Honda, because that's just how the market is right now. With the supply chain still facing challenges, creating a perfect selling opportunity for you. And as always, you can talk to any of the great staff there, whether it be Cam McKenna, Luis Morales, Trav Landry, or go right to the leader in charge, the GM, Greg Johnson. They'll hook you up, because at Mohawk Honda, Freeman's Bridge Road in Scotia, they want to make sure they give you the best bang for your buck and also the best vehicle to fit your budget and lifestyle, because at Mohawk Honda, that's all they do. They want to get you into the right vehicle for you and your family, because they always go out of their way to please you. And if you have any comments in short form, my Twitter is at Brian Cady. His Twitter is at JJ_Alexander. If you have a long form gripes, complaints, corrections, whatever the fuck you want to say, or if you're Mr. Stone from NYCW and you want to get into a war of words on email, it's brian.cady@GodzillaMedia.com. That being said, enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Enjoy a packed weekend of wrestling. All Out, Clash of the Castle, Worlds Collide. A lot of shit going on. No, none of you can complain. Not even the Basement Goblins should be complaining this weekend for lack of wrestling. And if you are complaining, fuck off. That being said, JJ, say fuck off, Basement Goblins.
Fuck off, Basement Goblins.